Hi everybody, so today I'm going to show you guys how to make a themed ceramic box. So before we get started, it's really important to look at the learning guides and handouts that I have provided you with, which start with the template for drawing our box sketch before we start. It's always important to sketch out your design ideas before you start, that way it gives you a direction for where you're going. So I filled out my own, you can see it here. For my themed box, I'm going with like a mandala theme or something that has a lot of lines and repetition, patterns, as you can see in my design here. What's really great about this template also is that it shows you every single side of the box. Well, except for the bottom, but that's okay. And I wrote important little notes on here that you could see that say like additive knob. I'm going to add a knob on there so it's easier to take the lid off. And then you could see here the nice curve that will be the lid. And I labeled all of the glaze colors, and I also wrote a little note on here for underglaze and using sgraffito technique for carving away the clay to give it an extra special effect. Now, after you finish your sketch, you're gonna, well, of course, turn that into me so I could approve it. And then you're going to have your learning guide handout ready to go. So like the learning guide I passed out to you guys. Have your learning guide and get all of your supplies before you get started. So we have a piece of paper, pencil, and a ruler for our template, which I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute. And then we want to have all of our clay supplies ready to go before we start making our box. We're going to go ahead and get started with the template. So I'm going to show you how to make the 4x4 inch template with the piece of paper. Then we'll get going on the actual creation part with the clay and our slab box. Okay, so we have our piece of paper here and our ruler, and we're going to start at one end of the page and measure out 4 inches. Put a little tick mark there, rotate your page, measure out another 4 inches. And then now we could draw our lines in. Now that we have our shape, our 4x4 inch template, we could use this to make each one of the sides of the box. And remember, we're going to make 6 of these. One for the 4 sides, so that's 4. The top and the base will give us 6. So you're going to want to let these sit out for 10 to 15 minutes outside, or put them inside of the heated drying cabinet for 5 to 10 minutes and come back and check them. And once they are leather hard, which means that they're not flapping around, once they're not flapping around, then you know they're leather hard. But for now, we're going to put these out to dry out a little bit so then we could clean up the edges and give it a 45-degree angle before assembling our box. Okay, so now these pieces have been out in the sun for 15 minutes. And you could tell that no more flimsiness flopping around, so we could go ahead and put these in our format to get ready for assembling. So I like to put the biggest one for the base. Okay, once you got it into the layout that you like, or that looks good, you're gonna want to bevel the edges. So you're gonna do bevel edge, all 4 on the bottom, or the base, and you're gonna bevel the edge, the 3 sides of each one of the walls. So that way when it comes up, they have a nice beveled edge. So to bevel the edge, you might have a bevel tool cutter, or you might just have a needle tool, which is perfectly fine. You're going to take your tile or slab wall here and cut this at a bevel. And we're doing this at a 45-degree angle. The tool that we have in the classroom is so much better than using the needle tool, but you kind of see the beveled edge here. Okay, I might actually have a better tool to do this. This is like a special carving tool, but I'm going to see if it works a little bit better. Much better for carving. You guys can see the beveled edge. And then we'll do the last side here. Once all 3 edges are beveled, go ahead and put it back in the format, and we'll go ahead and bevel the rest of these. Okay, so looking at my template, I made a curved edge for my lid. So I'm going to try to replicate that curve onto the sides of my form. So here we go. I'm just going to use the needle tool and lightly draw in how I imagine it. So now you guys know how to construct your themed box for the form. As you can see here, our final product. Yours might look a little different because you might have done a different curved edge, or you may have included a different shaped knob or handle if you chose that for your form. But something to think about is that once you have the shape, now you're able to customize your themed box. So if you're doing, for example, like Cookie Monster, you might add the Cookie Monster face by hand painting it on and then adding a cookie on top, like the learning guide. Or for me, myself, on mine, I'm going to hand paint this with underglaze and then use this graffito hand carving technique to add my design into the form. But now you guys know how to make the form, and I'm looking forward to seeing your customized theme box.